Hello everyone, I'm Jay and this is the Camden Stitch. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how I transformed my Ikea dining table into a foldable cutting table. I'm not going to be showing you every stage. This isn't a tutorial, it's more designed to give you an idea of what's possible. So I wanted a folding cutting table, but they were really expensive online and it looked like the only way I would get a specific one for my small space, because I need one that rolls out of the way. So I needed one that could be on casters. Would be to get it shipped from the US, and that was just looking too expensive. I know you can get specific cabinets made by people like Horn, but the price range of those is just way outside my budget. So I found an Ikea dining table, which they do still sell. They're called Ikea Norden, I'll pop it across the bottom, Ikea Norden gate leg tables. And I found one on Gumtree for £100, including delivery. I got it straight away. They delivered round to my house a couple of hours later, and here it is behind me. As you can see, it folds down to just this narrow central column with the two leaves at either side. At the moment I've actually got some labels that I've not put on here yet, but they're just labelled with masking tape for the moment. So they've got these really useful drawers in the middle that you can pop all your sewing stuff in. You can see mine, I've got interfacing and tools, pins, thread cones, etc. One of the downsides about this table is that it's very heavy, so I don't know how I'll get on, but once it's on casters, I'm hoping that the casters just help it slide across. So basically in my sewing space here, as you can see, the room that we're in at the moment, as you can see, serves to be my kitchen, my sewing space over here by the window, but also there's the balcony there, it's my living room as well. So sorry, it's not as tight as it could be. This is my big room in my house that has to serve for me and Ian for a lounge and TV room and sewing space and kitchen. So obviously I don't have a lot of room. I wanted a table that I could cut on, because cutting on the floor with my back was just killing me. The space behind the TV there is going to be where the table is going to roll to, where it's going to be stored when I put the leaves down. So just going back to the table, it's an ordinary dining table. The problem with using that for cutting is that the height that dining tables tend to be at are for you to sit down, whereas to work standing up, they can be quite bad if you've got a back problem already, cause a lot of pain for you. So trying to work at something that's kind of about 4 inches too low for you can be quite painful. So my plan is to raise it using these wood blocks that I bought on eBay. These are 4.5 centimetre cubes, which is exactly the same profile as the legs. The gate legs themselves are a bit narrower, which means there'll be a bit of overhang, but that's okay. So I'm going to attach the cubes to the bottom of the table, and then once the cubes are fitted on, I'm going to attach some casters. So there'll be an overall height increase of about 13 centimetres on top of the table, which take it to about 89 centimetres, which is a pretty comfortable height for working standing up. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing this fetching, it's a heat wrap for my neck. That's why I look so gorgeous. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drill pilot holes in the wood blocks using a small drill bit. I am using the smallest drill bit in my kit. It's a 4mm drill bit, but I'm not actually going in for the diameter of the bit. I am just drilling a tiny weeny little pilot hole, and that's because that is going to be a screw hole for the brace plates to go on. So what you will need, obviously you'll need a table. Make sure you've got ones that the legs are solid wood, or there's something that you can drill into. If the interior of these is MDF, it will take a screw or a bolt, but it'll be less strong than solid wood. So make sure you bear that in mind. You might be able to fix them actually better with you can get castors that have got plates that screw onto the bottom. That might be better if you do get a table that's got hollow legs. I'd advise you to try and get a table, if you can, off Gumtree or eBay secondhand, because you can pick them up really, really cheap. They used to be really popular, folding tables to save space, and obviously it's really good to try and reuse things wherever you can. So you'll also need some wood blocks, the dimensions that fit onto the bottom of your legs and are as high as you want to raise the table. You will need some way of fixing the wood blocks onto the bottom of the table legs. I'm going to be using No More Nails adhesive and then these brace plates to screw between, I think they're actually called mending plates or fixing plates, to screw to hold these onto the bottom of the table legs. And you'll also need some castors if you want it to wheel. I'm going to be using these castors because these will give me quite a good amount of height to raise up. But you can also get castors with brakes on, and you can also get castors with, instead of these bolts here that fit up into the bottom of the legs, you can also get castors that have a flat metal plate that you screw onto the bottom of your legs. It just depends what the table legs are made of and what's best for your project, really. So what's going to happen is I'm going to be drilling a hole into the bottom of my wood blocks. I've marked an X here so that I can find the bottom of my wood blocks. I'm going to be drilling a 1 centimetre hole into the bottom of this. Then I'm going to be tapping this in with a hammer. And then what will happen eventually is the castor will fit in here inside the wood block. And I'm going to be affixing the wood blocks onto the table legs, but I'm going to do that in a bit of a reverse order just because of the best way that it's practical to do it. So as well as everything that I've mentioned, you will need a drill, the type that you can use to drill into wood, so it doesn't have to be a hammer drill. You'll need some wood drilling bits, which are the ones with those sort of spikes on the end. The ones with the blunt ends are masonry drill bits, and they're not suitable for this job. So you will need a thin one for drilling the pilot holes for your screws. This one is a 4mm drill bit, and this is a 1 centimetre or 10mm drill bit that I've got to drill the large hole for the castor bolt. So off we go. So I forgot to mention, always make sure you wear protective gear, because I forgot to put mine on and immediately got a splinter in my eye, which isn't nice. So I've drilled all the pilot holes into the cubes now. The next thing I'm going to do is put the hole for the bolt for my castors, which is what I said you need the 10mm drill bit for. I've already done one. Oh, also, in the things that you'll need for the job, if you are able to get hold of one, a tall, big Scottish bloke called Ian is very helpful. Hello, Ian!
Get on with it!
So here's one that I've already drilled the hole and whacked the bolt into, and it's gone in all right. It's amazing when these things work. Okay, so we are back now 48 hours later. We've been allowing the adhesive on the that's joining the wooden blocks to the bottom of the table legs to cure. And now Ian is putting in the screws to the top of the brackets, and then we're going to attach the castors. Oh, hello Betsy. Hello. So we're just about to lift the table up. We've got the wooden blocks which have been glued on using no more nails type adhesive, and then we've got the mending plates, fixing plates screwed to brace them, and then we've got the socket casters here. So altogether that raises it up by, I think I measured it to be 13 centimetres, but we're gonna stand it up now and see if it's a good height for a cutting table.
I think it'll be alright. I think it's just... How does it feel?
Ta-da! I thought you might like to see my sewing space now. The cutting table is finished. There it is. So this is my sewing space, which is about as tidy as it gets. And there's the cutting table in position behind the telly. And you can see it doesn't take up too much room. Actually, it could go further back, but that's where I keep my plant pot with all my tracing paper rolled up in there. So I need somewhere to keep rolled up stuff. So I'm gonna show you me taking it out, and you can see how it works in action. This is the space where it normally lives, just behind the TV there, in front of the plant pot. And this is where I keep my mats that I then slide out on top of the table, and my tabletop ironing board. I did make a tabletop ironing board, but it seems to be being commandeered by... Hi Betsy! So I never get to use that, so I bought another one. And I just thought you might like to see a little peek of my beautiful, beautiful new Dukey, which I will show you in another vlog.